What's up, everybody? I'm Colin. I attend the Forest Hill Waxhaw campus, and I'm a junior at Weddington High School. Welcome to Advance Online. Another great week, another great online advance. All right, so we don't have a lot of time to do the things that we used to love to do. We can't really go out of our home, but we do have a lot of time to do the things that we were never able to do before, that we might have.
Waking up knowing there's a reason. All my dreams come alive. Life is for living. With you, I made my decision. You lift me up, fill my eyes with wonder. Forever young in your love, this freedom's untainted. With you, no moment is wasted. See the sun now bursting through the clouds, black and white, turn to color all around. All is new in the Savior I am found. This is living now. This is living now. You take me higher than I've been before. It's your perfect love that sees me soar. God, your freedom is an open door. You are everything I want and more. You lead the way, God, you're right beside me. In your love, I'm complete. There's nothing like living with you. This life you created, I choose. See the sun now bursting through the clouds, black and white, turn to color all around. All is new in the Savior I am found. This is living now. This is living now. You take me higher than I've been before. It's your perfect love that sees me soar. God, your freedom is an open door. You are everything I want and more. See the sun now bursting through the clouds, black and white, turn to color all around. All is new in the Savior I am found. See the sun now bursting through the clouds, black and white, turn to color all around. All is new in the Savior I am found. This is living now. This is living now. You take me higher than I've been before. It's your perfect love that sees me soar. God, your freedom is an open door. You are everything I want and more.
Okay, so I'm just starting. My hands don't know what to do. Hey guys, I'm Alana Floyd. I'm from our Waxhaw campus, and I'm so excited that you are here with us today and that you're here in my home, in my kitchen right now. Yes, take a look, take a gander. And I'm so excited because we get to talk about something really important. I would love to start with prayer and then we'll get going. God, thank you for right now that in the midst of this crazy time, and it's something we've talked about each week, how quarantine is weird. This is a really weird, isolating time that even within it, God, you are here. And so God, I just pray over tonight, I pray over anyone who's watching this, that God, in moments where they don't feel like they can make an impact, where they don't feel like they can be effective, where they don't feel like people can look up to them, that God, you would take away those lies and replace them with who you are. Replace it with influence where people want to follow because of you, Jesus. So God, I love you, I thank you, be with us tonight, and in Jesus' name I pray, amen. So today I want to talk about influence. And maybe for you, the thing you did first when you heard influence is it automatically took you to influencers, Instagram, TikTok. Or maybe when you think of influence, you think of someone who has made an impact on you and how you think, how you feel. Maybe you're like, yeah, somebody has influenced me, but I'm not able to influence anyone else. What if you're wrong? Turns out we actually have a lot more influence than we think. I don't know if you've seen the videos, but there is these videos called TikTok Made Me Buy It. And that happened to me. Maybe it happened to you. Did I buy these glasses because I saw a girl on TikTok wearing them? Maybe. Did I spend $15 of my own money on these? Yeah. Do I regret it? And it was because of the way they said it, because there were so many other people following them, it made me want to do what they were doing. Having influence means you can impact and change the atmosphere of a room. I'm gonna take us back a long time ago because we're able to look at stories in the Bible where people had influence where they didn't even know. So we're gonna actually jump into John 6 tonight. In John 6, this is when Jesus and a few of his followers, they had been going from place to place to place, and they were stopping in this town, and I probably need my Bible, so hold on one second. So we're gonna pick up in John 6, and this is a story where Jesus, he's been traveling sometime with his disciples and with other followers, and they've been going to city, and he's healing people, he's doing so many amazing things. And so we're gonna pick up here, and it says, sometime after this, Jesus crossed to the far shore of the Sea of Galilee, and a great crowd of people followed him because they saw the signs he had performed by healing the sick. Then Jesus went up on a mountainside and sat down with his disciples. The Jewish Passover festival was near, and when Jesus looked up and saw a great crowd coming toward him, he said to Philip, "Where shall we buy bread for these people to eat?" He asked this only to test him, for he already had in mind what he was going to do. Imagine this scene. Jesus and his disciples are probably tired, they're probably exhausted from traveling so many different places. And they get here and they sit down, and all of a sudden it's like people are showing up, they're coming closer and closer, and I have this like imagery in my mind. You know when you hear like just zombies and troves coming? How overwhelming would it be to see all of these people just like walking towards you, knowing that you have healed people before, knowing that you have provided for people, and that's kind of what they want to see. So not only is Jesus sitting there and there's all of these people coming towards him, but in the middle of this, he looks at Philip and he goes, "Philip, where shall we buy bread for these people?" And what I think is interesting here is put yourself in that position. You have the man sitting next to you who has healed people, brought people back to life. He asks you, what should I do? Where should we get the bread? What can we do next? What's the next step, right? So I would be asking the question, aren't you the guy who can do this? You're the miracle guy, right? Philip responds and he goes, "It would take more than half a year's wages to buy enough bread for each one to have a bite." So what he's saying here is, Jesus, you have to be kidding me. That's literally like going to Bojangles and ordering 5,000 number ones and having no cash, right? Like there's really nothing you can pay for it with. This is where the dilemma kind of starts. And And we're gonna keep going. Another one of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. He said, "Here's a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. But how far will they go among so many?" Apparently, one mom in the crowd packed a lunch for her kid that day. And so it's this one kid who has, let's say it again, he has 5 small loaves of bread, and then he has 2 small fish and brings it up. And so this is what Jesus says: "Have the people sit down." There was plenty of grass in that place, and they sat down. It was about 5,000 men. And Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted. He did the same with the fish, and when they had all had enough to eat, he said to his disciples, "Gather the pieces that are left over." Don't forget that. They were left over. "Let nothing be wasted." So they gathered them and filled 12 baskets with the pieces of the 5 loaves left over by those who had eaten already. After the people saw the sign Jesus performed, they began to say, "Surely this is the prophet who is to come into the world." There were leftovers. Like, can you imagine? They say there's 5,000 men, okay? That does not include the women that were there, and that does not include the children that were there. They just weren't counted as a part of this. There's thousands on thousands on thousands of people there, and Jesus was able to feed them with 5 loaves of bread and 2 small fish, and there were leftovers. That is crazy to me. So a lot of times when people talk about this story, we focus on Jesus, which is great. Let's always focus on Jesus. Sometimes we even look at the disciples and we go, wow, like they followed Jesus with what he wanted to do in that moment and what a huge impact it made. But I want to focus in on the other character in this story, which is the boy. I'm sure he didn't wake up that morning, grab his food and go out the door thinking, I'm gonna make a huge impact on the world today, right? But he gave what he had, he did what he could, and Jesus used that to feed over 5,000 people. So this is where we come in. This is where Jesus shows us that we can have more of an effect than we think. You can have more of an effect than you think. I feel like we're able to see ourselves in this story, and maybe you've seen problems in the world and you want to do something about it. It feels like, yeah, I want to make an impact. I want to change things in this world for the better, but I get disheartened because I feel like I don't have anything to offer. And in this story, this little boy who at the time, children, they were kind of seen as, let's just put them to the side. They don't have any leverage, any responsibility, anything to really give. But what I love is that Jesus uses this young boy to be able to make one of the biggest impacts. And he didn't have much. He didn't have much to give. But that's where Jesus comes in, because we don't do it on our own. We don't influence on our own. You do have gifts. You do have something to give. Become aware of what you have that you can give. Here's what I know about influence. Influence isn't about making me feel valued. It isn't about doing something so that when I go home tonight, I can lay my head down on my pillow and have great dreams and feel great about myself. Influence is for others to know that we value them. We value them. It's not about ours. Another thing I know about influence is that it can't be stagnant. To influence someone, you can't just not say something. To influence something, you can't just lock yourself away and think that you have nothing to offer. But influence is when you move. Influence is intentional. And that's what Jesus does with influence, right? He's always intentional about valuing others. It's not about the volume of your voice or how loud you can yell to the rooftops, but instead, influence is about being able to stop, be self-aware, ask yourself, what's going on? What am I feeling? How am I viewing this? How am I perceiving this? Listening, and then doing something. And so that's what we can do. We can do this. You can do this. Maybe you are right now sitting on your couch at home and you're watching this live stream and you're like, great, Alana, this sounds awesome. Like, but I still don't understand, how can I do this? We're in quarantine. Where am I gonna make an impact in quarantine? I'm literally isolated. I am bubble boy in my house right now. Doesn't matter. You can make an impact because I'm guessing you have people in your home who you're living with. I'm guessing you're able to connect with people on whatever social media, maybe it's texting them, whatever it is, you have people you can reach out to that you can influence. maybe you have younger siblings. Whatever it is, you are in a spot where you can impact someone. So here's what I need you to write down. So get your scroll and your quill out. Who can you influence? And maybe you need to start with who has influenced you so that you can start to think about who you can influence right now in this very moment. Second one, what? So this is where we go, all right, what do those people who are in my who category, what do they need in this moment? And I want you to know, even as a 6th grader, even as a 12th grader, wherever you're at, you can ask somebody what they need. You don't just have to assume. And the third one, it's very simple. Do it. Literally, on it. Do it.
Just do it!
That's all you have to do. And that takes action, that takes taking a step forward. And so if you are questioning yourself, if you truly believe you can't make an impact, I'm looking you right in the eye right now. And I want you to know, and I want you to hear that you can have an effect right where you are on other people. And you get to choose how you do that. You are influencing people right where you're at, by your actions, by how you care for them. And it's not about how loud you can get, but instead it's about looking, listening, and being able to move forward. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week. I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye guys.
So, after hearing that message, let's talk about some things you can do right now. With the death of George Floyd being a huge thing in the news this week, and all of the tragedy and chaos and protests and everything surrounding it, it can be easy to feel like you don't know what to do, and you don't even know if anything you do is going to have an effect. Well, I've got 3 suggestions for what you can do this week to take action. Number 1, pray. Prayer should never be our last resort. It should be our first line of defense. And so we are going to be having a live prayer gathering on Instagram this Wednesday at 8 p.m. If you don't follow us, go follow at FHC Advance. We want to see you there. We want to pray with you. We want to pray over our city and our country. Number 2, go watch Advance Online from 3 weeks ago. This was the conversation I had with Marty around injustice and racism in our country and in our world. If you did already see it, send it to a friend and watch it with them and talk about it with them. Having conversations around tough events like this is what starts to open the doors and break down the walls of racism. And number 3, bring somebody with you to Advance Online next week. We're going to be having a panel discussion with some new voices about racial injustice and how we can respond to tragedies like this in a real and tangible and helpful way. Can't wait to see you there next week.